Hey everyone, it's Mari, and I'm back today with another 12 by 12 process. I'm going to be using this gorgeous layout that I pinned on Pinterest as my inspiration today. I absolutely love this layout, and I have pinned that on one of my scrapbooking boards on Pinterest. I'm going to be taking this paste from Golden, and I'm going to be using this Tim Holtz stencil just to put some texture down on this Maggie Holmes Gather Collection paper. I love this paper. It's so gorgeous. It has that painted look to it, kind of a watercolory look. And I'm just going to be using the texture paste to add a little bit more texture to this layout and eventually create a spot where I'm going to be putting the photo mat and layers for my picture today. Now, I didn't think that that texture paste was very prominent. I wanted it to stand out a little bit more, and so I decided to do some dry brushing with some white acrylic paint over top of the texture paste. This is Liquitex Heavy Body White acrylic paint, and there is zero water in that brush. It is absolutely bone dry, and I'm just trying to get a really streaky look over top of that texture paste so that you can see the paste a little bit more. I just wanted it kind of to have a little bit of a distressed and grungy look, this layout. And I think that I do achieve that by the time I'm finished adding all of the little different bits and pieces of mixed media to the project. So you can just see me adding a bit more of that white, and pretty soon I'm going to be finished with that process. So now I am going to take my Sharpie paint pen and I'm going to add some white splatters onto the background and just continuing with that kind of messy look. And now I'm going to start with the stamping process. Now, if you have seen any of my mixed media projects, whether it's my art journaling or scrapbooking, you know that I really love to use stamps. And I have quite a great stamp collection of all different kinds, and I really, really love to use my distress stamps in my scrapbooking. Some of these are Tim Holtz stamps, some of them are Prima. And if you have any questions about what stamps I've used here, just leave your question in the comments below, and I will let you know which ones of my stamps I've used here. So I'm going to use a variety of different textures and shapes for just a little bit of extra texture in the background. And then I'm going to go ahead and layer my photo mat and so on top of that. So the best plan here is to have a pretty good idea of where you want your photo obviously to go here so that you can create your stamping around that so that it just peeks out behind your photograph mats. And I really love that bottom stamp, that bottom collection sort of distress stamp has the word Paris in it. And that was actually from a collection of Paris stamps because the photograph that I'm going to be using was taken in Paris. Now you can see that I've printed my photo it's a complete square and it's in black and white. And I'm just layering behind that with a bunch of papers from the Gather collection. I think that dot paper maybe is from the Saturday collection from Dear Lizzie. But other than that, the papers are all from Gather, and I'm just layering them up so that the different textures of paper will stick out. So I've got the black and white polka dots the most dominant, and then the other layers of paper are all pretty neutral. And then I have this piece of gold and acetate paper or plastic that's just going to go behind the photo on an angle so that it just pokes out from the edges, and you can just see a little bit of that gold pop in there. And there will be gold accents on this layout, so I just liked how that acetate had that little fleck of gold in it. I think that is really sharp, and it does really look nice, I think, as a little tiny detail behind the photograph. And now I'm just going to take some tissue paper from my just my stash of tissue paper. And honestly, I don't buy any tissue paper unless I need a specific color. I just use what I have that's mostly just from packaging. And this is just some plain white tissue paper that's really nicely rumpled and crinkled. And so it goes along with kind of that grungy theme that I'm going for here. So I'm just going to trim that up a little bit so that it doesn't cover up any of that wood grain, any more of the wood grain paper, I should say, than I want. I want just a little bit of that wood grain to be sticking out behind the photo. and the tissue paper. And so just stick that down. I end up putting a little bit of foam tape on there too, just so that it does pop up a little bit more. And you'll see me doing that here in a second or two. I really love this photograph. This was actually taken on one of the bridges in Paris, and it was Jordan's favorite spot. And it was really cool because there was these two really cute little cafes at the bottom of the bridge, and we ate and had coffees at both of those little spots, and it was just a really nice place. There was always little entertainment going on the bridge and so on, and we just really loved that place. It was fantastic. So I'm just documenting that here. You won't see me doing any documenting on the layout itself because I'm going to do a Project Life layout that will be the opposing page to this one in my Paris album. Now I'm just taking a bunch of little different ephemera bits, chipboard frame. A lot of these little pieces came from an older collection called Craft Market. But what I really like about that collection is that it has a little bit of a distress look. It's kind of more cream in color, and it has gold accents. And since I'm using gold accents here throughout this layout, I really loved the look of Craft Market to go along with this layout. Now I'm just taking a Heidi Swap planner sticker there that says today on it in gold, and I'm just putting it on that little ephemera label, that little die cut label behind the chipboard frame. And now I'm just going to look for a phrase stamp from Felicity Jane. I'm going to end up putting it on the side of that fishtailed banner there that I used as the largest layer in the photo mat. And I'm actually going to stamp that vertically on the side of the bottom of that fishtail banner. And this stamp is going to say where I stand. And the picture is just Jordan standing and leaning against the edge of the bridge. And the journaling that I will do on the Project Life spread will be just about how we really love to visit this spot. And we were in Paris for 7 days, and we had just a lot of really relaxing time. We didn't feel like we were pushed for time because we were there for 7 days. And so we did just really soak it up. And when we found a spot that we really enjoyed, we took our time and enjoyed it to the fullest. So just documenting some of those moments here. And soon, hopefully, I'll be done my Paris album and I can do an album share with you. And hopefully by then I'm done my Maui album as well. Just doing some splatters here in gold, and this is Shimmers Vibes Gold, and then I also use some Heidi Swap Black, and the layout will be finished. Thanks so much, guys, for joining me today, and there will be some still shots coming up right away here for you to take a look at some close-ups of the finished layout. Thanks a million for stopping by, and I'll see you next time on my channel. Bye-bye.